Yes, students. So, in continuation of the chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plant, today we will discuss about the structure of megasporangium. Megasporangium, also known as ovule. So, let's first of all recap where the megasporangium is present and what is megasporangium. All of us know that female reproductive part is called pistil or carpel. These pistils and carpels together known as the gynoecium. If we look into the structure of carpel, so all of us know this consists of three parts. This is called stigma, this one is called style, and this complete part is called ovary. Right, and ovary is located on the structure, it is called thalamus. Right, this is called thalamus. Now, in this complete structure, which is together we use word carpel or pistil, right? This is a female part in a flower. It may be a bisexual flower, unisexual flower. All the carpels and pistils together make the female horn of the flower, the reproductive part, that is gynoecium. Now inside the ovary, this is we can represent as the this is ovary wall. This from ovary wall there is a presence of very important structure, right? This structure is called ovule, or this is also known as megasporangium, because here megasporogenesis takes place. There may be one ovule, there may be more ovule, so this depends. Okay, so ovule later on develop into seed. So let's now try to understand the detailed structure of the ovule. Generally, the ovule shown in this ovary, please remember, is anatropous ovule, which is most common type of ovule found in the flowering plants or angiosperms. Besides that, there may be orthotropous ovule, anatropous ovule. Different type of ovules are there. But we have to remember, in our syllabus, we have the ovule that is anatropous ovule, or that is the inverted ovule. So when we look into the structure of ovule, broadly the outermost layers, protective layers, are called integuments. This is the outer integument, inner integuments. Inside the integument there is a mass of tissue present, which is nutritive tissue, and that tissue is called nucellar tissue. Nucellus or nucellar tissue we can compare with the tapetum present in the microsporangium. Tapetum provide nourishment to developing microspores. Similarly, here there will be development of megaspore. Megasporogenesis takes place. So during megasporogenesis, nucellus provide nourishment. Okay. So when we look into the structure of anatropous ovule, so let's draw and try to understand the structure of anatropous ovule. So please remember, anatropous ovule or ovule is present inside the ovary and it remains attached to the ovary wall. Okay, through a specialized tissue that is called a placenta, and the filament that is called the cunicle. So it is like this. So here first of all we should try to understand the upper part is called salazar end, or this pole is called salazar pole. Which pole is salazar pole? It depends on the position of opening of the ovule. So opening of ovule, here this part is called, this is micropylar end, or micropylar pole, micropylar end, or it is called the micropylar end or micropylar pole. This is called micropylar. Micropyle is this structure, this opening is called micropyle, where the micropyle is present. This part is called micropylar end. This is opening is called micropyle. This micropyle formation is due to discontinuation of these two layers, protective layers. These layers are known as, this is outer integument, this one is called inner integument. There are two integuments, outer integument and inner integument, right? So these integuments are not continuous. There is a gap, and that gap makes the opening of ovule through which pollen tube enter inside it, and this opening is called micropyle, and this end of the ovule is called micropylar end. So we can notice here, this is called micropylar end. Opposite to the micropylar end is called the salazar end, right? Inside this, here megaspore will develop. Here sporogenous tissue is present. In surrounding of sporogenous tissue, there is a tissue present. That tissue is called nucellus. This is very important. Nucellus. Nucellus is a mass of tissue which is present outside the megasporogenous tissue and inside the integument. It is protected inside the integument, right? Structure which connect ovule with the ovary wall is known as funicle. The junction is called funicle. The part which connect is called hilum. And now let's look into the functions of different part. So when we look into integuments, integuments are protective layers. These protective layers, all of us know that ovule will develop into seed. Okay, so when ovule develop into seed, that time integuments develop into seed pole. Outer integument will develop into testa, and inner integument will develop into tegument. So please remember, all of us know ovule develop into seed. During development of seed, outer integument and inner integument together make the seed coat, and outer seed coat is testa, inner seed coat is tegument. So development of seed coat takes place through the integuments. Now come to the nucellus. The major function of nucellus is to provide nourishment. Nourishment is the main function. This is the tissue which provide nourishment. It is rich in nutrients. Okay, it provide nourishment to developing megaspore. Okay, so it provides nourishment to developing megaspore. Sometime we have to notice that this nucellus is not completely consumed during development of megaspore, and there is a presence of residue of the nucellus. Residue of nucellus remain in form of thin layer, and that is called residual nucellus. Generally, nucellus is used consumed during development of megaspore or during megasporogenesis, but sometimes residual nucellus may present, and this residual nucellus is known as perisperm. The best example of this is black pepper. Okay, Solanum nigrum, black pepper. There is a presence of residual nucellus, that is called perisperm. Microphylar end allow the growth of pollen tube inside it. Generally, it enter through the micropyle. So we have to remember, common entry of pollen tube is from micropyle, but pollen tube may enter directly through the. So on basis of that, we say cellogamy, it enter through the cellulose part, bijogamy. Okay, so and if the pollen tube enter through the micropyle, then we use word porogamy. One more point we can add here when we talk about this cell, that megaspore mother cell that develop into undergo the reductional division, meiotic division, and that form the four cells, megaspore cell, 3 degenerate, ultimately development of embryo sac, that is 7 celled and 8 nucleate. So when we talk about mature embryo sac present inside it, always remember there is an egg cell always present toward microphylar end. This is very important point in Anatropous ovule. This egg cell will be always present. Okay. Egg cell is always present toward microphylar, and another cells are called synergids. This cell having 2 nucleus, that is called central cell, and here 3 cells, these are called antipodals. Okay, so antipodals are generally present toward cellulose end, and egg cell is generally present toward the microphylar end. So that also we can keep in mind when we draw the detailed structure of Anatropous ovule. This ovule will develop into seed. Integuments develop into seed core. Nucellus consumed during microsporogenesis. If residue remain, then it is called perisperm, black pepper, or Solanum nigrum is the example. Opening is called micropyle. This end is called microphylar end. Another end is called cellulose end. Okay, so this is all about the structure of megasporangium in angiosperms. Thank you.